はい、始まりました。はい、ゲーム音とか声のバランスと大丈夫かな？ちょっとね、違和感あったりしたら教えてほしい。ということで、いつものやす、頭のうさぎさんといつも一緒、フィードラーです。若干、風邪気味です。ちょっとね、音がうるさいとか、大きいとかありましたら、教えてください。ねえねえちゃん、待機ありがとう。何、神ゲーなのこのゲーム。で、ね、キャベさん、ヤッホー、こんリアル、何のゲームだろう。私もね、知らないんだよ、これ。あ、白山さん、砂漠様さん、ヤッホー、こんリアル。本当に知らない。タイトルすら読めなかったから、読めるかわかんないけど、これからやるゲームは、ザ・スタンリーパラボラというゲームをやっていきます。何やら、会社のゲームなんだね。お、マシューさん、ヤッホー、リアル合ってるかな？呼び方間違えてたらごめんなさい。英語が。よっしゃ、とにかくやっていこう。これ、一番上のこれでいいのかな？ザ・ゲーム。よし、始めるよ。音大丈夫かな？カラスさん、ヤッホー。ね、わかんない。実はね、とりあえず日本語化モッドが機能しているかちょっと不安でございます。
This is the story of a man named
スタンリ
Stanley.
ーという男の物語です。スタンリーさん。
Stanley worked for a
ス
company
タン
in
リー
a
は
big
大きなビル
building
の中にあ
where
る
he
会
was
社で従業
employee
員
number
427
427.
番として働いていました。
Employee number 427's job
簡
was
単
simple.
で
He sat at his desk in room
え、
427 and
何
he
ク
pushed
リッカーみたいな
buttons.
ゲームなのこれ？大丈夫？
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, of
他の
every
人に
month,
は
of
足をつらせ
every
るかもし
year.
れませんが、
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished
スタ
every
ンリーは
moment
死が
of
来
the
るために
orders
喜びを
he
感じました。
gave, as though he had been paid exactly.
私じゃ無理だな。
Stanley
スタンリ
was
ーは
happy.
幸せでした。
And
あ、
then
ざ
one
わさん、ヤ
day
ッホー、
something
これ
very
やる。
peculiar happened.
しかしある日、
Something that would
起こりま
forever
した。
change Stanley.
そう、
Something
人生
he
が
would
変わる。
never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one
指示が届き
single
ません。
order had
おっと
arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
うわ
Never
ー、
in all his years at the
つらー、
company
怖っ。
had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very
明
clearly
らかに何か
wrong.
変でした。スタンリーは
Shocked,
動けずにいました。
frozen
いや、
solid,
本当に機械みたい
Stanley
な人
found
なんだね、
himself
スタンリ
unable
ーさ
to
ん。
move for the longest
ナイさん、ヤッ
time.
ホー、こんリアル。
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
後にする。よし、動け。早いな、結構。結構動きがいい。なんか、普通にクリックすると。あ、飛ぶ。
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No.
まずいことになるでし
This
ょう。
couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will
やばい、
happen.
やばい。なんか奥
Nothing will
っつうか
break
闇が深い。
In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days.
彼は早い。
Had years gone by? He no longer had the
怖い怖い
ability
怖い
to
怖い怖い
tell.
怖い怖い。ホラゲ
But
じゃ
the
ないっ
one
て聞
thing
いた。
he knew
この
for
ゲームホラゲ
sure
じゃないって聞い
beyond
たんだけ
any
ど。
doubt
ちょ
was
っと
that if he waited long enough, the answers
ちょっ
would
と
come.
出れないんだけど。
Eventually, someday, they
待って
would
待って。
arrive.
電子的になってくる。
Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be
怖い
told
怖い怖い。
what to
何
do.
ここで死ぬの？待って待って
Now
待って
it's
待って。怖い怖い
just
怖い
a
怖い怖い。
little bit closer.
ヘルプヘルプ。
Now it's even closer. Here it
あ
comes.
終わった。困惑。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
何が起きてるの？
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
会議室。とりあえず向かおう。会議室どこまず？ これに沿っていけばいいのかな。とりあえず進もう。あ、しゃが
When
むこともで
Stanley
きる。
came to a set of two open doors, he entered the
左のド
door
ア
on
に
his
入りま
left.
した。ほうほうほうほうほう。ナレーターさん、長文、すこ。やっとね、クリアだ。クリアなの今の。
Yet there was not a single
大
person
ですよ、
here
誰もいませ
either.
んでした。
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
上司のオ
there.
フィス？こっち？オフィス上
Coming
か
to
な
a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
上司のオフィス。うわ、綺麗だな。ここだよね。オフィス来たぞ。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human
な
life.
んでいないの？
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was
ちょっ
being
と
held
突
from him.
然
What
ボ
he
タンし
could
か押
not
してない
have
人
known
が
was that the keypad behind the boss's
とんでも
desk
ないことを考
guarded
える
the
ようになった
terrible
ね。
truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had
マ
assigned
ルチ
it
エンディング
an
系のゲー
extra
ム
secret pin number.
2845
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845どこで使うのそんなの。
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was
あ、あ
2845.
ったわ。こうかな。
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened
開いちゃ
to
ったんだけど。
input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. おお怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い。なになになになになになに待って待って待って待ってなんだこのゲーム。よくわかんない。 Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature
初め
of
て
his
自
job.
分の意思で
Why did
違
he
う
feel
ことを
this
してる
now,
から
when for years it had never
ちょっ
occurred
と
to
不
him?
思議に思ったのかな。
This question would not go unanswered for
ホ
long.
ラーではない。安心してくれ。分かった。怖っ。女子いたりする。なんかポータルみたいな場所だね。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
本当にホラーじゃない？大丈夫？
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
照明がつ
screens.
いた。
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find
次
out?
進むしかないよな。何この会社の中にこんなさ、怖っ。
Now the monsters jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers, the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
待って怖っ。突然闇の話になってるんだけど大丈夫これ。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it
あ、こんちゃん、ヤッ
blindly?
ホー、こんである。哲学。ね、哲学よね。哲学なのかこれも。わかんない。怖い。
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's
そりゃな、
control?
マインド
Never.
コントロール
It
され
was
てて、
unthinkable, wasn't
だって
it?
考えたくな
Was
い
it
よ。
even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
ここは
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
これかな？違う。無力化っつってもどうすれば。あ、番号書いてある。どうやればいいんだろう。わかんないわかんない。何をすれば勝ちのゲームこれ。あ、番号ある。1、2、1、2、あれ ?3、4はあった。3、4番。4番、4番。4番はどこ？ 3 番があって、あれ？ 4 番どこ？ 1、2、なくない？もうしゃがむこととあれしかできない。あ、しゃがんだら実は下にありましたみたいなことではない。うん。どういうことどういうこと？ 4 番いずこ？あ、あそこにある。あそこになんかある。上か。あ、4番上にあった。よく見たらあったあった。よかったよかった。よいしょ。やばい、走りたい。こういうとこってダッシュした方がよくないか？ 3、2、3、4。待って、10まであったよね。4。で、5番があそこでしょ？探索力が倍、ひどい。5、6？ 6？ この数字とかに書いてあったりして。そういうわけでもなさそうね。5。5？待って。待って。待って。6どこじゃ。6、7、8、9、10。ミシャさんやっほー、こんにゃーる。なんかよくわかんないゲームやっておりますが、今積んでます。わからないわからない。6。6番どこ？外？あっちじゃないよね。多分絶対この部屋にあると思うんだけど。10もない気がする。そういえば、言われてみれば。だってどういうこと？あれ私バカ。なんか、もう、どこポチポチすればいいんだろう。ここさせてくれないしな。英語が読めないから、何をどう押せとかもわかんないんだよな。助けてほしい。どうすればいいんだ。うわー、適当に押す。で、しかも、出口的なとこもないしな、ここ。もうなんか、押せるわけじゃないし。何が怖いってさ、この人キーボード持ち歩いてんのかってぐらいさ、カシャカシャ言うのよ。左クリックすると。 あれ、ここだけそういえばついてない。しかも押せない。なんで？わかんねえ。あれ以上上に行けるわけじゃないしな。わかんない。先、よく見たらここか。
And when at last
あ
he
ったわ。
found the
こ
source
こ
of the
か。
room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
うわー、音。どうなったんですか？音がでかい。みんなも気をつけてね。
Blackness and a rising chill of
そ
uncertainty.
りゃ不安広がるわ。
Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the
確かに
machine's
どこにあ
grasp?
ったんだろう。
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking,
スイカさんやほう
but
こんにある。
happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been
彼
to
らほら理解する
understand,
ことなく自
but
分
to
に
let
や
go.
かす。
No longer would anyone tell him
な
where
ん
to
か普通
go,
の場所で
what to do,
安心した。
or how to
あ、
feel.
真の自由だ。
Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
彼がどんなにそう言っても、それは彼に唯一知ることのできる。
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
すご。
Stanley felt the cool
サンディ
breeze
は肌
upon
に
his
触
skin,
れす
the feeling of
風
liberation,
解放感、そし
the
て彼は
immense possibility of the new path before him.
の
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley
スタンリーさんは自由になったんだね。ちょっと待って。結局何を伝えたいゲームなんだ？命令されず自由に動いて、こう、自由を手に入れたってこと。さっきと同じ。あ、わかっ
I
た。
can't
こ
wait
れ
to
ち
tell
ょっ
this
とわ
story to
かっ
my
た。
co-workers, Stanley thought.
じゃ
How
あ
amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing?
ここで進んで踏んで
When Stanley came to a set of two
右
open
のドアに
doors,
入ろう。
he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
あ、な
Perhaps
る
he
ほど。
wanted to stop
本
by
当
the
に
employee
マ
lounge
ルチエンディン
first,
グだか
just
ら
to admire it.
こう全然違うんだね。行く先々で。
Ah, yes, truly a room worth
素晴らしい部屋。
admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here
こ
in
こで
this
待ったりしたら
immaculate,
ここで過ごそう
beautifully
とか言い出すの
constructed
かな。
room.
そういうこと？
Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
とにかくいろいろやればいいの。じっくり見て回りたいけ
But
ど、
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
左側にある扉。いやー、あえて今回はちょっと無視していこうかな。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
嫌な予感するんだが、これいいのか？
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this
と
time.
飛び降りれるんだけど、待ってやめてほしい。絶対それはそれでなんかホラーエンドみたいなのありそうだからやめてほしい。
Please, stop
こ
trying
の
to
ゲー
make
ムはいろ
every
いろやる
decision
ゲーム
by
か。
yourself.
なるほど
I'm
ね。
not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your
真
life.
っ暗。
She's been waiting.
ク
That's her,
リ
Stanley.
スは
You need to be the one to do this.
いいだろう。何？
Oh, Stanley, on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? They want to commit their life to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
びっくりした。マジやめて。怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い。
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
悲しい物語。死ぬんかい。キーボード2を押してください。
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
怖っ。めちゃくちゃ怖かった今。
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
なるほど。
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home.
なるほどね。
Now
これ裏切っ
he's
た方がい
coming
いような
back
気
to
がするんだ
work.
けど。
One might
ランチ
even
を取
feel
りま
sorry
す。
for him, except that he's chosen this life.
かわいそうだと思いました。これ。押さねえよ。押さねえよ。絶対押さなきゃダメこれ。怖っ。やだ。時間経過で、なんか、これにはならないみたいなのないの
But in his mind,
in
in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown. Fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
テレビを見るには0を押してください。テレビあ、これ
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
息子たちと一緒に過ごすには Z を押し
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
あるね。押したくねこの時計が過ぎたら、カチカチが過ぎたらなんか、押さなきゃダメこれ。
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one.
なるほどな。なるほどな。
And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
押さない。押さないよ。押さないよ。どれぐらい押さなきゃいいの？怖っ。押しない、押さない。押さない、押さない。私は押さないぞ。出してくれ。ここから出してくれ。ここから出してくれ。でも押すしか方法なくない？だって出れないんだもん。ジャンプもできない。押します。
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
怖っ。疑問を捨てるには。疑問を捨てるの？
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him.
天の声さ
I'm
んがなんか
compelled
導いて
to.
く
I
れて
must.
たのかな？
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
やば、もう、スタンリー
And I
さん。
tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button.
直球すぎる。直球すぎる。怖っ。何ホラーゲーじゃん。ホラーじゃん、これ。ちょっと待ってよ。
All of his co-workers were gone.
めっちゃ怖かった。待って、ただのホラーゲ
Stanley
ー。
decided to go to the
草じゃ
meeting
ないよ
room.
ね。
Perhaps
ちゃん
he had
草じゃない。
simply missed a
めっ
memo.
ちゃ怖かった、マジ今の。なんかめちゃくちゃいろんな意味で心折れそうなんだけど、助けてほしい。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
右に
This
入
was
っ
not the correct way
て
to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
で、この部屋
Wow.
入って、
Yes, this room. What a
こ
beautiful
こで
room.
時間
What a
潰すみたい
gorgeous,
なのもできるの
gorgeous
かな。
room.
いろいろや
Thank
ろう。
goodness
や
Stanley
る
had taken this detour on his way
妄
to
想
the
エンド。
meeting room.
妄想で死んだ
Life
のか。
without having
怖っ。
experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
ありません。なんで
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
ゆっくりするよ。今回はゆっくりして
At
みる。
this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
ああ、執着、そうね、今執着してるもんね。このお部屋に。
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a
次が
message.
来る気がする。何が来るんだろう。この音いいよね。こうトコトコって音。歩いた感じの音。今、机の上乗れなかった？乗れたわ。一瞬、ちょっとだけ。これだけ？英語で全然わかんない。結局部屋出るしか方法ないのかな？散らかりすぎじゃない？全体的にさ、この場所っていうかこのカフェじゃない、会社。もう出るしかないじゃん。出るか。
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room
満
and
足した
took
ん
the
ね。
first open door on his left to get back to business.
廊下の左側にある。
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back
なるほ
on
ど。
track.
でもやめてほしい。いきなり来るのやめてほしい。 下に行くと何があるんだ？この下ってまだ見たことない気が。
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
戻るには左。戻るという選択肢がない。戻らなきゃこれはいけないのかな？
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
どっちやねん。
No, 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 not
ど
the
っ
right.
ち？
Why would I have
どっ
ever
ち？
said it was to
天
the
の声
right?
さん。
What
どっ
was
ち？
I thinking?
What?
It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
髪めくってるよ。天の声さん。
Let's see, we went down right, left, down,
左、下、
left,
左、
right.
右と来て。
Yep, okay, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is
これ好き。
absolutely, definitely this way.
また、その、出てった瞬間引かれたりしない？怖っ。なんか下に来た。お、あれフィルドフィルド
No, 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 no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay, okay. We just have to get back to oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
待て、今分かったぞ。これ全部管理してんの天の声さんじゃん。やば。
All of his co-workers
闇
were
深。
gone. What could it mean?
やっちまった
Stanley
な。
decided to go to
や
the
っち
meeting
まった
room.
の。
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
怖っ。そういうことでしょ今の。はあ。
When Stanley... Wait. Wait,
何
what?
あれ
No, no, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
そう
Everything
そう
should be...
やばいやばい。
Oh, did something change?
変わってしまった。
Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in
本
that
当だ、
room
なん
with
かちょ
all
っ
the
と違う、
monitors?
さっきと。
Did you move the story somewhere?
本格つなげた。ね。
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that
雑
it's
だ
here
な。お
somewhere.
前雑だな。
Okay then, it's an
あ、
adventure.
ごめんなさい。
Come,
待
Stanley.
って、ちょ
Let's find the story.
は待って、増えすぎ。待て、おじさんこっちに行くと、さっきの。こんなとこ空いてる？待って、わかんなくなってきたんだけど。どういうこと？つうか、全部空いてんじゃん。いや、増
I'll
え
say
す。
it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story
い
here
や、
before.
ね、
Do we just
迷って
do
る
we
ぞ、
need
お
to
じさん。
restart the game again?
おじ
Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by
開けすぎ。
starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
ちょ、パッ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
さっきのは結局無限ループなの？そういうこと？
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering
おじ
this
さ
wrong.
ん、おじさん、
Possible the
お
story
じ
is
さん、
back where we just came
つい
from.
に
Why don't we go
こい
back
つ
the
やりやがっ
other
たぞ。
direction and see if
扉
we missed anything.
扉がない。戻って。
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it
それが
comes.
来るぞ。
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our
何をさせたいのこの人。またさ、ヤッホー、ここにある。また。
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story?
私も見覚えないよ。
I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building.
君は覚えてるか、スタンリー。
Do you remember, Stanley?
何
Well, do you know
こ
what?
こからは
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing,
ならどうだ
how
ろう
about this? You win! Congratulations! I
雑
know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh no.
ダメだ。
No,
だか
I
らす
don't
ごい。
feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some
これは
people
違
win
う。
fair and
め
square,
ちゃく
and
ち
this
ゃ
was not one
な
of
んか
those
褒められたんだ
situations.
けど、ありがとうございます。
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this
なんか
time.
知らんか
I
リスター
have
ト
to
だ。
restart.
なんかいろんなエンドっていうか、やらされ。あえ
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line.
この道は見
How
たこと
simple
ない
is
ぞ。
that? You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to
あ
destiny.
っち来て。
Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination
いやいやいや、そ
still
れ
a
は無理だ。
story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You
い
know
やいや
what?
いやいやいや、無
I
理無理。
think what we need right now
あれ
is
じゃ
a
ないん
bit
だ
of
から。
music to lighten the mood.
みんな大丈夫？音うっさ。ちょっと待って、ちょっと待って。音うるさ。音うるせえ。ごめんね。突然みんなびっくり最初。配信者の耳が死ぬ。オーディオ。でかい。でかい。待って。でかい。でかすぎるんだって。ミュージックそっちか。なんかちっちゃくなった気がしないんだけど。あ、だいぶ収まった。だいぶ収まった。だいぶ収まった。配信の方の音もちょっと上げていい？こんぐらい？まあ、いいでしょう。ごめんね。こんな展開来るとは思ってなくて、音量調整ほとんどしなかった。よいしょ。可愛くないよ。とりあえずルートに沿って進んできたけど、これは無理や。なんかいろいろ落ちてるよね。なんか指名手配みたいなのあるんだけど、怖っ。なんだこのゲームマジで。うるさくなったりさ。また、待って。待って、シダって何？
Wait, what? We're back at the office?
そんな。
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story?
あれこれ、ループしてない？あ。
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us?
LINE が裏切った。
Everything we've been through.
さかったー。びっくりしたマジで。
Restart.
ちょっと不機嫌そう。 もう何も言わなくなっちゃった
You
よ。
know what,
え、
Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're
なん
intelligent
かそれ
people,
を
right?
刺激的
Why
で新
can't
鮮
we
ミス
make
リ
up
アス
our
な
own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious.
ミスリアスの
Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable.
い
Why
い
don't
もの
we
ができ
simply
た。よ
start
し、探索
wandering
に
in,
行こう。
I
わかんない
don't
けど、
know.
こっちだ。
How about this
わかんないん
direction?
かい。わかったわかった。じゃあ、進んでみよ
Now, yes, this
う。
is
生かす以上、
exciting.
私、スタンリ
Just
ーだ
me
け
and
新しいルー
Stanley
ト、
forging
新し
a
いス
new
トーリーを
path, a new
そう
story. Well, it
そ
could
う、
be
何でもあ
anything.
りだ。
What do you want our story to be?
それか、どんなものでも変わらないよ、ス
Use
タンリ
your
ー。
imagination, whatever it might be,
スタ
Stanley.
ンリーさんが今度は
I'm
考
ready
え
for
て
it.
作るのか。天の声さんの力
Oh
借りて。
no, not you again,
また
Stanley. I'd also like to
珍しい。
veto the line from having any
あ
role
り
in
がとう。
our
それは
awesome
モ
new
ニタール
story.
ームもいら
No
ない。
lines or monitor
ライン
rooms.
もモニター
Just
ルー
don't
ムもいらな
acknowledge
い。
it. We
じゃ
should
あ
be
無視する。
fine.
きっと大丈夫。ほうほうほう。おう、無視した。忘れたね、スタンリーくん。
Ah, a
ああ、選
choice.
択だ。やったと
We
で
get
決
to
められ
make a
る。ガスタ
decision.
リー。
From
私たち
here,
も
the
だ。
story
こ
is
の
in
チャンスを無
our
駄にしてはいけない。
control. How important we mustn't squander the
この
opportunity.
若
In
干
fact, I
ニ
believe
ーア
I
ッ
need
プ
a
の
minute to
怖い
think
怖い
here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse
目
door.
回る。みんなも目回さないように
And
気を
that
つけ
in
てね。
turn means that our destination corresponds with the
表と逆、
counter-inverted
裏側と
reverse
反対。
door's
一
origin.
致する。
So
どういうこと
starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the
スタン
correct
リー
one.
私たちの運命が
Another
待ってい
victory
ま
from
す。
logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
え
Oh, hold up, what's this?
お
The confusion ending.
1回目のリス
You're
トス。
telling me that's what this is?
え、やば。
One giant
全部、
ending?
全部のやつ載ってるじゃ
And
ん。
we're supposed to restart the
プレ
game
イした時間。
eight times?
ゲー
That's
ム
really
8
how
回。
all this goes?
決められていた。
Determined.
ナレーターが死ぬ。
So
え、
now,
死んだの
according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to
長い時
forget?
間の後、スタンリーが死ぬ。え、待って。今何回目
My mind goes blank simply because it's
スターリ
written
ー、
here
スト
on
ーリーを
this,
忘れ
this
た。
thing wall.
リサーチショッ
who
ト
consulted
す
me?
る。
Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be.
え、待って待
I
って
don't
待って
want
待
it
って
to
待っ
be.
て待って。
I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't
そのう
restart
ち
the game.
ラ
I
インを見
won't
つけ
do
る。
it.
今
I、won't
次
do
5回
it.
目。
I won't do
ナレ
it.
ーターそれまでの嘘について忘れ
And
る。
the timer stopped. Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The whatever it is that made this schedule?
え、怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い。
Will
赤さん、
someone
ヤ
come
ホー、
first?
こんリアル。
Will something happen?
え、どこまでやった私。何回やった
So,
何回リスタートされた
okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a
ス
kind
トー
of
リーの旅じ
story,
ゃないだ
wouldn't
ろ
you
う。果たして
agree?
これは旅の途中
I'm
なの
not
か
quite
ゴールなの
sure
かわ
if
から
we're
な
in
い
the
けど。
destination or the journey.
あつか、
Though
プレイ
they're
が
always saying
止
that
まった
life
ことに
is
なってる。
about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime,
びっくりした。ホラゲではないけど。まずは出
all
る。
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
変わらず。で、こっちに行くんだよね。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
え、
well.
今のは、あ
Perhaps
れ
he
で、
wanted to stop by the employee
ね
lounge、
めっ
first,
ちゃホ
just
ラ
to
ー、
admire
怖
it.
かった。
The lounge was sublime,
で
a、work of art.
ここ
But
を
eager
立ち
to
去っ
get back to
て、
business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
まっすぐは、もう見たから、左に入っ
And so he
て、
detoured through the
まっ
maintenance
す
section,
ぐ、
walked straight
かな
ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
あ、戻されちゃうんだ。なるほど。なるほど、なるほど。あれた山のやりとりを忘れてる。ね、忘れてるね。
Yet there was not a single
会
person
議
here
室には
either.
誰もいませ
Feeling a
ん。
wave of disbelief,
信
Stanley
じ
decided
て
to go up to his
行く
boss's
けど、
office.
私は
Only
下
in
に行っ
coming
て
to a
みたい。
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive
ね、あ、そういえ
economy,
ばストーリー
why
忘
had
れ
he
てる。
taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was
なん
crazy.
か、
And then
部屋
something
と
occurred to
駐
Stanley.
車場みたいなと
Maybe,
こを
he
ずっ
thought
と
to
行き来
himself,
してる。
maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
じゃ
None
な
of
い
it made
か。
any logical sense.
あ
And as Stanley
待って、
pondered
なんか
this,
同じ
he
と
began
こ
to
ぐる
make
ぐる
other
してない
strange
私。
observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet?
同じとこぐるぐるしてるよね。
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter,
確かに。
these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
ループしてる。
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too
ループ
strange.
してる、ループしてるよ。スタンリー、ループしてる。え、怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い。なんでループする
He
の？
just hadn't found the words
迷
for it.
宮？
I'm dreaming!
さあ、夢だ。
He
吹けま
yelled.
した。これは
This
全部
is
夢
all
な
a
んだ。
dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally
やば、
found an
頭と
answer,
ちくる。
an explanation. His co-workers weren't
ごめ
actually
ん、ご
gone.
めん、汚い
He
言葉
wasn't
だっ
going
た。
to lose his job.
い
He
い、
wasn't
忘れて
crazy
くれ。
after all.
頭やばい
He
よ、
thought to
飛んでる
himself,
よ、こ
I
の
suppose
人。
I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real
やば
life
いやばい
job
やばい
pushing
やばいやばい
buttons.
やばいやばい。
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to
地面
gently
から
float above the
お、
ground.
浮いてる。
Then he imagined
いや、
himself
どうやって、
soaring
ど
through
うやって今、
space on a
あれしたんだ。
magical star field, and it
や
too
ば。
appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled
やばいや
that
ば
he
い
had
やばい
stayed
やばいやばい。
woken up.
夢の世界だから
How
って
was
何
he
でもありに
remaining
しよう
so
としてる。
lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he
そりゃな。
hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a
どうした
voice
私
in
は
my
今
head dictating everything that I'm doing and
確か
thinking?
に。
Now the voice was describing itself
Oh,
being
thanks,
considered by Stanley, who
私
found
は
it
見てきた。
particularly strange.
深い深い深い。
I'm
突然
dreaming
深い
about
話が始まっ
it,
た。
describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all
人
very
々
odd
は
and
これ
wondered if
か
this
らこれ
voice
は死
spoke
に
to
思いま
all
したも
people
ち
in
ろん
their dreams,
これなん
the truth
か
was that
若
of
干変わ
course
ってたりするか
this
な
was
ちょっ
not a
と
dream.
見てみよ
How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's
A,
asleep, he
B,
doesn't have to take
J, J,
responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right
う
now
と
as he's ever been in his life.
変わってないか
Now, hearing the voice
12B4
speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
あ変わんない
Did the
本
voice
当に
not
そ
see
の
him
ままの
float
部
and
分
make the
を永遠に
magical
ループされ
stars
てる
just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too.
やめ
Surely,
ろやめろ
surely,
や
if
め
he
ろ
could just...
それはも
He would prove it.
うも
He
う自
would
分
prove
自分
that
自
he
身
was
を
in
見
control,
失い始めてる
that
じゃん
this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world
その
outside
世
this
界の
one.
新鮮な空気を感じましたさあ来てくれるから自分自身を信じました
He thought to himself, I'm through with this dream.
だから
I wish it to be
だ
over.
さあ仕事に戻ろういつも通
Let me
り
go back to my job.
待ってもう洗脳されてるじゃん仕事に
Please.
あサラさんヤッホーこんリアルめちゃくちゃこれホラゲじゃないって聞いたけど一部ホラゲっぽいんだけどやめてほしい
All I want is my life exactly the way
結
it's
局
always
この
been.
人は仕事付け
My
なんだ
life
な
is normal.
私の人生は普通で
Everything will be fine.
やば
I am okay.
ヤマトもじゃなかったよ今で
Stanley began
キャ
screaming.
リア先はした
Please,
そう
someone wake me up. My
Someone
name is
Stanley,
Stanley.
especially-
I have a boss. I have
Especially-
an office. I am real.
Especially-
Please, just someone tell me I am real.
え怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い怖い
Can
や
anyone
って
hear my
待っ
voice?
て
Who am I? Who am I?
And everything went black.
怖っちょっとホラゲ
This
じゃ
is
ないっ
the
て
story
言
of a
っ
woman
た
named
じゃん
Mariella.
いややばい突然違う人できちゃった
Mariella woke up on a day like any
そうや
other.
朝起き
She
て着替えて、
arose,
や
got
って荷
dressed,
物を
gathered
持
her
って仕
belongings,
事へと
and
向
walked
か
to
い
her
ます。
place of work.
え
But on this particular day,
え、邪
her
魔ありま
walk
し
was
た。裏を
interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through
道
town
に倒れた。
talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed
あ、
dead on the
もし
sidewalk.
スタンリーさん。
And although she would soon turn to
ぜひ
go
やりま
call
し
for
しかし、ほんの一
ambulance,
瞬だけ。
for just a
娘の
few
ところについ
brief
て考えま
moments,
した。
she considered the strange man.
これ、ピーちゃ
He
ん
was
の
obviously
驚く声。
crazy. This much she knew.
いいけー。
Everyone
どういうこ
knows
と
what crazy people look like.
いやでは
And
ね
in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal.
そりゃな、
I
思うだ
am
ろう。
sane.
朝は
I
頭だ。
am
私
in
はね
control of my
う
mind.
わー、待って、怖いし、深いこと言ってるんだけど。
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way,
やって
seeing
思い
this
出し
man
まし
made
た。
her feel better.
本当は変だら大
Then she
変。
remembered the meeting she
確か
had
に
scheduled
言われてみれ
for
ば
today. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her
与えられ
career,
るちょいちょい
and by extension, the rest of her life.
やばい、なんか
She
違う
had
人の
no
話になっちゃ
time
った
for。this, so it was only a moment
その
that
そ
she
の
stood there,
死体、あ、死
staring
んじゃった
down
の
at the
救急
body.
車なのに。
And then she turned and
そして
ran.
入れ替え、走り去っていきました。走り出しましたか。で、次は確か、なんかレプリカ
Stanley
を見
had
ると
never
か言っ
seen
て
the
なかったっ
office
け？
this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
なんか変わるのかな？
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
従う？これ。従ってみるか。従って、外何もないんだけど。
Yet there was not a
で、
single
会
person
議室に
here
は誰
either.
もいない。
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
で、
Stanley
上
decided
司
to
の
go up to his boss's
部屋を
office, hoping he might coming to a
目指
staircase.
して
Stanley
オ
walked
フィスに
upstairs
向
to
か
his
う。
boss's office.
こっち開かないかな。お。えなんてモエインザモーニングモーニンモネユインザエブリシングモネクフォブレブフィクもうわかんない英語だってわかんないよ。とりあえずここは何でもない部屋と。よいしょ。それだけ？待って。それだけですか？なんで？怖っ。戻っても変わらない。あ、閉められたんだけど。ごめんなさい。お、開いた。また違うものがあった。マネーか。お金か。やばい。これ、上と下でまた選択肢があるみたいなやつだ。上に行くか。お金。お。やけにリアルだな。これ、終わりある？この上エレベーター終わりある？そもそも何階なんだこのビル。曲、違う、そうじゃない。散らかりすぎだって、このビル。お、着いた。あれ？困惑。いや、私は下に行くよ。どういうこと？このエレベーター壊れてんじゃないの？わかんない。結局ここにたどり着くんかい。 可愛いけどかわいそう。ちょっとやめてあげてほしい。何どういうこと？白いのは自分の手で開けられるんだね。なるほど。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845.
これさっきとストーリー一緒では。
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
これ押さなくてもストーリー進むかな。めっちゃ押させようとするやん。めっちゃ押させようとするやん。2845。怖い。やだ。こういうとこで車線切れば大丈夫かな。ほら、来いよ。お前だ。なんと、パネルは緊急システム突然横になり。
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
そう来たか。いや。ゴリ押し。なんだこいつ。やだ、進みたくない。さっきと同じでは。なずみちゃんやっほー。このゲームはなんかよくわかんないゲーム。なんか一瞬ホラー要素めちゃくちゃあったんだけど、やめてほしい。また同じこと繰り返すん？もう行くしかないよね。助けてほしい。どういうことだってばよ。違うエンドにたどり着きたいんだけど。1回で壊れるエレベーターなんてつくんじゃないよ。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
エスケープ？
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
ちょ。いや、行くけど違うルート。
Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
ここは自らの死って。ごめん、ちょっと待って、水だけ飲ませて。まだ見てない。でもなんか死とか怖いこと言ってる。でも行く。いったー。
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer,
なぜ生きている？
he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this means. Perhaps his death was of no great loss.
ちょ、抜け出す方法ないんですか？
Signed and willingly accepted this violent end to his
ちょ。
brief and shattered life. Farewell, Stanley.
ヘルプ、そこにあるでしょ。あー。お？
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
ホラゲじゃん。じゃあのじゃない。お、あれ？ホラゲで死んだのでは？ザ・スタンリー。
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
さあ、ナレーターさん変わった。
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance,
お姉さん。
making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
ちょっと待って。今度は何？頼む、説明してくれ、お姉さん。めちゃくちゃ綺麗な写真だな。これはオフィスの形だね。多分。扉。ああ、さっきあった。ね、5個あったね、ボタン。懐かしい。これ、ちょっと見たことあるかも。美術館ね。すごー。こんなのあった？これは見たし、これはまだ見てない。やばい。広すぎ。いろいろある。すごー。怖っ。ここは見たっけ？すごい。すごー。待って。この美術館すごい。このゲームの、レプリカ待って。あれそれ。何とか言われた。第2弾トレーラー公開後、メールでナレーター募集しました。当初はメールプロモーションを利用するつもりでしたが、使い道見つかりませんでした。一部をご紹介いたします。英語だからわかんない。スタンリーが戦場でエイリアンと戦うシューティングゲームを想像してエンディング化しました。アクションゲーム芽生え、ナレーターもふざけすぎていや、これはね、確かにちょっと行ってみたさはあるけど、世界観がもう違うんよ。すごー。コピー機だ。雑だな。これは乗ったね。これで一周してきたのかな？一周ってわけじゃないけど。上見に行ったから次こっちの部屋だね。すごー。椅子とか。さっきのとこだ。さっきのとこだよね。エスケープ？最初の声を担当した3回に分けて録音しました。流れているゲームの本編 未登場のディスク。まさかの未登場ボイス。すごい。本当に博物館、美術館じゃん。で、私一つ気になってることがあって、この世界の終わりは？あ、先があった。あれあったっけさっきこんな。いや、あったな。私こっちから来たんじゃん。ひーちゃん、人生のすべてを、すべて飾られて、怖い怖い怖い。私のすべて、前慣れた、解雇された。ね、されたのかな？私何？ここにすべて私の人生載ってんの？怖っ。なずみちゃん？突然ホラーっぽいこと言わないで。あ、ボタンの効果音なんだ。へえ。これとかね。すごい。いろいろあるけど、ここから出る方法を私はまた探し当てなきゃいけないとかいう、そういうオチですか？スタンリーはここから出たい。まだ私は行ってない場所がある。そういうことになる。あったわ、確かに。よいしょ。こっちかな。ゲーム違くなるんよ、これ。あ、てか、ここって、なんだろうな、4番目のバージョンで、最初バージョンのつもりでさ、最新。すご。発売寸前に。また2つに分かれてる。怖い。びっくりした。何が起きる？あ、そうなんだ。電話取らなかったら別エンディングだったんだ。へえ。あれ、さっきのところ持ってるな。そうなんだ。ここが、プロジェクト、1、2、3、4。やっぱ決まった道なのかな？よいしょ、2つのドアに続く4日のプレイヤー何度もプレイすることになるので14ポイントになりました。そうに、一番最終的にシンプルなものが採用された。で、こっちは怖っ。ゲーム開発期間中はゲームの構想を伝えるために4つの、ティザートレーラーを公開しました。これは2012年5月に公開された一覧です。あ、そういうのをこれ見ちゃっていいやつ？これ流して大丈夫なやつかな？あ、すごいよね。いや、闇が深いんよ。すごい。で、みんな気づいたか？どう出るの？こんなのあったっけ？何の夕日とかを説明してくれました。そうなんだ。一時期プレイヤーメニューからリスタートすることを迎えられる。残念ながらそれに気づいたプレイヤーはほとんどおらず不評でした。あらら。あ、ってことはこれリスタートしなきゃいけなくない？そういうこと？まあ、そりゃそれに気づけるプレイヤーなんてなかなかいないわな。だって、ほとんどずっと進んでるのにさ、こう、いきなりリスタートしろだなんて。じゃあ私はこれリスタートしなきゃ次に行けないやつではなかろうか。exactly、その通り。どれ？英語が読めない。リスタートどれ？ペイちゃんは そうね。リスタート。これこれどっちみんな、どっち英語読める人、上と下どっちですか？ごめんなさい。英語がわかりません。助けてほしい。リスタートどれ？ちゃんは出口は見つからないので自分でリスタートすることにしました。その通りだ。上はリセットザゲーム。ヘループヘループヘループ英語ができないヘループリスタートどっち？ゲーム、アゲイン。ゲームをもう一度。こっちかな？こっちか。これでリスタートか。できたー。
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
こうやって見るとやっぱすごいな。さっきの見た後だと。これで終わりではないけど、私他のエンディングなんか多すぎてわからないんだけど、どうすればいいかな。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
まっすぐ入るとルートあったっけ他に。まあ、いっか。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
よっ。
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley left from the platform and plunged to his
やっちゃっ
death.
た。
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
やばい。本当に自殺エンドあった。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
怖ー。何このゲーム。ホラーすぎる。ちょっともうそろそろ泣きそうなんですけど、助けてほしい。フリーダム。本当にびっくりしたよ。あれ？この道
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
あん
he
な道
entered the
だっ
door on his
たっ
left.
け？なんか変わった？あれ？
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
違
admire it.
う気がしたけど、気のせいかな。
Stanley
通り
felt
が。
lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
いや、なんか違かった。なんだろう。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
こっちには行けないんだな。まあ、飛び降りんなーって書いてあるんだろうね。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy,
あれ？
really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be
これうまくいったら
difficult, but the fact is that
届かない
the story
か。
has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
よいしょ。
Really? I was in the middle
そうい
of
えばな
something.
ん
Do you
か
have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do
めっちゃ怒るやん。
want to
めっちゃ
show you
怒るやん。ごめん
something
って。
beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
だって
Give me a chance.
2B は怖。2B3 2B4 2B5
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
またルート。 迷う。色で選択されると迷うな。どっちにしようかな。いやー、これはネタ的にせっかくだからって言いたいんだけど、その赤って言われたから、ちょっと裏切りたい。裏切ろう。
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
あ、
Stanley
こ
walked
いつ、
through the red door.
こいつ、
I still don't think we're communicating.
超赤押すやん。
Stanley walked through the. All right, fine, go
あ
ahead,
なたの好き
Stanley.
でくださ
You
い。
want to know so badly what's out
めっ
there?
ちゃ
You
す
want
ね
to
た。
find out what lies at the end of this
め
road?
っちゃ
You've
すね
chosen
た。
well. Don't
面
let
白
me
い。
stop you.
ごめん、出たくない。でも行かなき
You
ゃ。
see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place.
壊れた
Broken
部屋。
rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
開発してく
Was
れ
it
た。
worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into
めっ
that?
ちゃ怒るやん。めっちゃ
And
す
in
ね
the end,
て
it was
怒
all
る
for
やん。
nothing.
ごめ
Because
んっ
this
て。
is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these
She's
strange and
amazing.
unknowable desires of yours.
Yeah.
What would have made this game better?
Shut
What
up,
did you
shut up.
want to see?
ごめんって。
Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so
ごめんっ
far.
て、わかった。
Tell you
わ
what.
かったっ
Let
て
me。take a
さ
stab
あ
in the dark at a new
私が
design.
大事な
You
の
can
で、
give me
私
some
がさ
feedback.
せてください。
There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go
なんか
ahead,
一部
Stanley.
なんか
Take
そういう
it
こと
for a
になってる。
spin.
ほう。これ絶対開発途中のやつじゃん。まあやるけど。
Okay, I'm going to stop you there.
新しい
Now,
バージョンに対し
tell
て
me
感想を
about
聞
your
かせてください
experience。with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you
は
more
あ、
choices?
本当に。
Feel free to be honest.
は
I'm
い。
looking for some real critical
あ、さっ
feedback
きのとこ
here.
だ。
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these
手
flashes
の
of
ひらくる
inspiration
っくる
come
やん、
from?
この人。
How did
草。
I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't
こ
say
い
where
つ、
the idea came
こ
from,
いつ
except
なん
that
でもありだな。
I felt it in my soul.
こいつはにかなって
You
ま
can't
した。
teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your
超
previous
褒めるじゃん。
playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
なんかハイテクになった。わかった、見に行く。
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you
あれ？
feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again,
ほらよ。
honest
ほら
answers,
よ。
please.
ほらよ。
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a
あ、それと
prototype
かっ
of
た。
a new game
ま
I've
た
been
にかね、
working on.
新しいゲーム
And
の
now
設
would
計
be
があ
a
るんで
lovely
す。
opportunity to
作
give it
品
some
がいいから、
playtesting.
ちょっと見てもらえ
You
ます
wouldn't mind
か。
taking a look at it, would you?
どんどんなんか敬語になるじゃん。完璧です。起動してみましょう。え？
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right. And if
はい。
it reaches the fire,
了解
you
です。
fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the artwork will really take notice.
とりあえ
But
ず、
of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So
え、ちょっと待って。え、4時間耐久？
play to make sure it's effective.
いきなり4時間耐久始めるとかやめてください。
Experience.
待て待て待て待て待て。うるさ。え。
You heartless bastard.
怒られた。
Because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even. I'm out.
ちょ
I'm out.
ちょ
I'm done. It's over.
あのさ、
Thank you for playing.
あ
Your
のさ
input、was
いくら
extremely
明日
valuable.
休みだからってさ、4時間耐久させようとするこのゲーム何？
Just to ease the pain.
待って待って待って。終わらせる方法がわかんないよ。
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
どんどんゲームやらせやん。 おい、怒られるぞ。
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired.
怒られてほしい。
Game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create
待
to
て、まず
fulfill
スタ
a
ンリー
greater
さ、
artistic
ジャンプできないか
purpose.
ら。
Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
あれさ、
Ah,
ヤッホ
but
ー
you've
これ
only
リアル
seen
マイ
it
クラ
from
配信と聞いて
outside.
マイクラ
You've
じゃない
only
ん
got
だ。
half the
一応ね、
experience.
マイクラ
Please,
もできる
step
から今
inside
度マイクラ
and
配
make
信して
yourself
みようか。
comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
どこどこどこどこどこどこどこどこについてこいって言われる。あ、開いた。え、どこに行けばいいの？スタリーさんは性質上曲よ。
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
明かりなんて持ってないが？
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5.
怒られてほしい。怒られてほしい。いいゲームだよ、マイクラフト。
Okay, new game.
楽しそう。ね。
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious.
見たことあるゲーム
Let's
だ
go
な。
find out what the hell this is.
頭打ってね。
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
ポータルじゃん。神ゲーじゃん。
Genius.
怒られてくれ。
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty.
これ
I
は
really
もういい
don't
か
care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
何？突然廃墟になるじゃん。あ、やべ、落ちちゃった。待って待って待って待って待って待って待って待って待って突然ホラー化するじゃん。進めるのマッチだっけ？怖っ。待って待って待って待って。いや、そういうわけでもなかった。なに自分だけでね、今一瞬足音2つ感じてびっくりした。あれ？ここって。あ、光がある。ここだけ光がちゃんとある。なんか良さそうな機材ある。でも怖い。待って、でも、構造上確かスタンリーさんの部屋を、
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now.
まあ、そ
I
り
wonder if he's
ゃあ、
happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it.
怖い
He'll
怖い
understand
怖い。
soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me.
混沌と
Someone who
恐
will
怖
wrap
と混
everything
沌の
up at
中
the
から
end to make sense out of the chaos and
ま
the fear
あ、
and the
助けてほ
confusion.
しいよ
That's who I
な。
am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh yes. Yes, I'll be back.
え、
There's no
怖
delay.
ぜひ最後見
Once this
届けたい
ends,。after it all
最
comes
後
to
ま
a
でやりたい
close,
けど、
then
違
I'll be
う。
back. The end
ぜ
will
ひ
be
みん
here
な
soon.
私の告知ツイートを
Very
リツイート
soon.
して広めてく
I
れ
can。wait.
みんなで最後を見届けよう。最後までいけるかなこれ。わからないけれど。で、電話鳴るやん。あれこっちじゃない。
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
なんて英語わかんない。で、そういえばナレーターさんめっちゃ無言だな今日。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
あ、こ
he
こは
entered
一緒
the
なんだ
door
ね。
on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to
さ
stop by
っ
the
きの
employee lounge first,
赤い
just to
扉
admire
も
it.
試したいんだけど、どう言ったっ
The
け？
lounge was grand,
あ、思い出した。
majestic.
こ
Perhaps
う
too
行っ
majestic.
て、
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
ドアに入らずに、こっち行って、
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's
で、
incredible he wasn't 5
こ
years
れ
ago.
で、よいしょ。
Look, Stanley, I think
移動
perhaps
し
we've
て、
gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
よいし
I
ょ。
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be
そうだね。
difficult,
物語
but the
は
fact
自
is
分
that
自
the
身
story has been about nothing but you
で、
all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting,
で、
Stanley. Someone you...
よいしょ。
What? Really? I was in the middle of
ご
something.
め
Do
ん
you
って
have
怒らない
zero
で。
consideration for others?
次
Are
赤
you
選んであ
that
げるから。
convinced that I want
赤い
something
扉
bad
選
to
ぶから。
happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I
わかったわかっ
really
たわか
do
ったわかっ
want
た
to
わかった。
help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
本当？
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley
赤い
walks
扉
through
取
the
ってあ
red
げる
door.
今度は。よいしょ。
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen
私
to
は
me.
私
You
の
see
話を
that
聞
I
いてくれる
really
気になった
have
ので。
wanted you to be happy all this time. The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running
また
just the way
か。
you're doing right now.
また同じ場所をループさせようとするこいつ
I
は。
wanted to stop. We would both be so much
私
happier
は、私
if
たち
we
は
just
スタンリーの頭の中の
and I think
人なのか
well, I
な。
think I have a
こ
solution.
の、
Here, let me show you.
お、行ってみるか。お、また違うルートが確立した。
What do we want? What are we looking for?
何があるでしょ
Here. Yes. Oh, it's
う。突
beautiful.
然星。
If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think
わ
I
ー、でもいい
feel
な、星。星っぽいけど星じゃな
I
いな、これ。
actually feel happy.
あ、明るい明るい明るい明るい。眩しい。いいね。ちょっと綺麗だなって思った。行くぞ、スタンリー。
No, wait. Where are you going?
戻ったらなんか変わる？
Right. Where were we?
あ、本当に綺麗。いいね。これ何度か繰り返せば。いや、行くね。
Oh no.
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
おー、
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
あ、
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
うわー、みんなどうするこれ。なるほどな。これ戻ってもストーリー進まなそうなんだよな。行くか。
No!
うわー、
Oh, thank God.
あ、
You
いける。
lived. You had me worried there for a moment.
怖っ。
Can we
今の
please
大
get
丈夫？
back to the other room?
これ本当に？
No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing
それは
this?
もう一度やれっていうお達しですか？わかんないからこそ試すしかない。グロ注意。痛い。
Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be
あれ
happy
これ
if we leave
リス
this
タート
place. You can see that,
になる
can't
ので
you?
はないでしょうか。だってこれループしない？別にこの部屋から出れるわけじゃないし。あれ、どんどん暗く。真っ暗だよ、その部屋。
No, perhaps not.
雑やな。で、結局どうさせたいのこの人は。スタンリー。
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
これどうしたらいいの？リスタ
Maybe
ー
you're
ト
just
もの
getting
で
a
すね。
kick out of it. I don't know anymore. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
ねえ、待って、もう誰か助けて。この世界のクリアの仕方。
I really did. I wish I still thought
やめ
that
ろ
was
やめろ、
possible.
気持ち悪い。どうしたら全てが変わる？リスタート助けてほしい。リスタートゲーかこれ。だってもう3回見投げしてノーダメージでしょ。スタンリー君すごい頑丈だよもう。
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it?
あ
I'm going back.
いいホラゲー。なんかもう枠があるんだけど。
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. When Stanley came to a set of two open
もう
doors,
他
he
のルー
entered
ト
the
が
door
思
on
い
his
つか
left.
ないよ。どうしたらいいの？やば、めっちゃ見投げさせられるやん。怖かっ
Yet
たマ
there
ジ。
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
あ
up
と
to his
どう
boss's
したらい
office,
い？
hoping he
違
might
う
find
ル
an
ート
answer
は
there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
もう
upstairs
オフィス
to
に
his
向かう
boss's
しかなく
office.
ないか？
The moment he entered his manager's office,
いくつだっ
Stanley
け
froze in his tracks. Not a living soul
4
anywhere.
人
Could he
あれ
really be all alone?
忘れちゃっ
This
た
was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life
赤
from
ちゃ
a
ん
man
ボタン
denied
4時
any
間
hope,
か
any reason to keep
赤ちゃ
going.
んボタン
Here
4
on the
時
floor,
間
he
は
lay prone,
耐久配
paralyzed by
信だ
fear for
な
nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future?
ちょっ
Alas,
と
it
変わ
was
って
not.
る
For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's
どう
past,
してまし
it
た
had been assigned a
2845
4-digit
だ
code so devious and so random that no man... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to disconnect the
めっちゃ
narrator
怒るじゃんご
talk.
めんね
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few
ミュー
moments
ジック流
with
そうと
some
してるこい
calming
つ
new age music.
これ権利怒られないかな不安になってくるよだんだん
Feeling soothed and
わかった
rejuvenated,
わかったわかったわかった
Stanley calmly walked
わかったわ
forward
かったわかった
into
聞か
the
せて
opened passageway.
どうしようだってもうほとんどのあれは見たよ他にあるやっぱ赤ちゃんボタン4時間耐久配信やるしかないの
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
これこっちに他の正解あったかルートの分離が
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
秘密暴かずに帰るのダメこうやってあもともと返す気ないわこれ一緒か一緒だなよしとりあえず
All of his co-workers
終わ
were
る
gone.
か
What could it mean?
これで
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
感想をまず言わせてください。恐ろしいゲームでした。私にとっては恐ろしいゲームだった。いきなり脅かしてくるわ。ルートめちゃくちゃあるわで、まだまだ多分、きっと見てないエンディングもあると思いますのでね。でもね、ちょっと面白かったって言ったら面白かった。深いこともたくさん言ってたしね。もうね、闇がでも深いゲームだなって思ったよ、これは。はい、ということでね、告知とさせてください。
Stanley stood for a
ご
long
めんって
time in one spot.
おじさんちょっと黙っ
It's
て。
part of a game. He likes to see how long he can go without dying. So far, he's doing excellent.
マインクラフト、
And if he just
そうね
stays、
マイン
right
クラフト
where he
ね、
is,
一応
I'm sure
Java 版
he'll
持
keep
って
up
るの
that
で、
good momentum. Let's observe
いつかやり
the
たいな
genius
と思って
at
ます。
work.
一応実は、マイクラスキンもちょっとね、とある方から、アマルちゃん、今のね、クリーム衣装のアマルちゃんのスキンをいただいているので、ぼちぼちね、マイクラでなんかやろうかなとも思います。はい。あと告知、眠れないあなたとやるかやらないか、かな。いや、この時間からだと多分朝だな。明日はなんか、またなんか配信、昼間に、この後か昼間ぐらいにね、告知とっていうか、あれするね。なんだっけ名前忘れちゃった。もうわかんない。配信。で、 もう一つ、ちょっと待って、確認してから言いますね。詳しくはまだ言えないんですが、25日土曜日の、21時かなくらいにね、ちょっと、とあることが起きますので、ぜひそちらの方も見てください。ということで、今回は終わらせていただきます。でこれをね、送っていただいたリスナーさん、ありがとうございました。その名前は伏せておこうかな。リスナーさんからいただいたゲームなのでね、とても楽しかったです。でも、すごいいろいろあって、すごいありがとうございました。ということで、今回は終わります。面白かったらぜひね、チャンネル登録、高評価していただけると気持ちがちょっと上がってまた頑張ろうとなりますのでお願いします。ぜひね、あとぜひこんなやついるぞって広めてくれたら嬉しいです。じゃあみんなお釣りある。またねー。おやおやー。